let's talk about the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. It was officially announced, or Ultimate Road Trip, excuse me. They're too similar. Obviously, I'm like, can't even get the name right because, we were introduced to this concept when they started doing Ultimate Girls Trips, where they would have a cast of fan favorites fly out to St. Bart's or Turks and Caicos or wherever it may be. Then Brandy Glanville happened, and we have never seen it since. Well, they're pivoting. Now they're doing Real Housewives Ultimate Road Trip, where they are traveling to different cities across America, and there's going to be like cameos in each city. So I'm unclear as to whether or not they're just driving to the franchise cities or if the franchise cities are a part of a larger road trip. But we do have the first cast for Ultimate Road Trip, and it is some of the greats: Kyle Richards, Vicki Gunvalson, Lisa Barlow, Luann de Lesseps, Portia Williams, Teresa Giudice, Giselle Bryant. Heavy hitters. You have to, right? It kind of reminded me of the first cast for Ultimate Girls Trip: Kyle, Teresa, Luann. So, they have their OG favorites for sure. But the Bravo news that broke the internet this week was that NeNe Leakes is going to make an appearance on this show. Not in a full-time capacity, but we're hoping that it's like the door that's being cracked open for her eventually to walk through and come back to Atlanta. So, basically, what's happening is when the cast goes to Atlanta, that's going to be one of their stops on the tour. NeNe will be there. Maybe she'll show them around Atlanta and what have you. I've seen some online theories, and I believe Tamra Judge even said this on her podcast, is that this will lead NeNe into The Traitors for season 5, which will then lead her into the Real Housewives of Atlanta for, I think, season 18. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? I need a NeNe Leakes roundtable, honestly and truly. But this was very surprising, because NeNe has had, a rocky road with Bravo and with Andy. But she took to Instagram this week and she said, this has been a really long, long journey. And gosh, I'm happy, overjoyed to say that I will be returning to Bravo. I almost can't believe the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm so happy. I'm excited to see all you girls. It's going to be a time. I'm back. Now pick your faces off the floor, okay? See you on Bravo. Love you. So that is crazy, but good. Bravo is going all out for the 20th anniversary of The Housewives. Vicki Gunvalson coming back to Orange County. NeNe Leakes making an appearance on this new spinoff, The Real Housewives Ultimate Road Trip. There's been rumors of Heather Dubrow maybe going to Beverly Hills. Will more OGs make their way back to their original franchise? Why not? Why not? I think that's actually something that has been working for the network lately, is when they bring back a big name, because we love nostalgia. I mean, you've seen your Instagram feed the past week, everybody posting their favorite photos from 2016. I got a new phone and I did an update or whatever. I didn't have the iCloud back in 2016. So I literally have no video, no pictures of myself. And I was not on Facebook that much. I'm like, where are you guys all getting these pictures of yourselves from? I only have a few on Instagram, and honestly, it looks like they were taken on a potato. So I'm not going to be posting that, but we love nostalgia. So bringing back some of the iconic names like Vicki Gunvalson, NeNe Leakes. I mean, for the 20th anniversary of The Housewives, I think it's only fitting. Anytime I see Luann de Lesseps, I'm a happy camper. She is on my Housewives Mount Rushmore for sure. Okay, let's move on to some news, some Vanderpump Rules news. I did talk about this on MPT, but I'm going to talk about it today too. So Tom and Ariana have come to a settlement in the House saga, 3 years in the making. Ariana filed a lawsuit 2 years ago in an effort to force the sale of the house that she shared with Tom Sandoval pre-Scandoval. And it seemingly is kind of being worked out, but the terms of the settlement, nobody knows. They're keeping it tight-lipped. Basically, it says certain unknown conditions must be met before the case is officially dismissed, and there's 30 days to do that. If that doesn't happen, they will go to court. They bought their home together in 2019 for $2 million. And Sandoval later claimed he made a $3.1 million cash offer to Ariana. I can't believe it's been 3 years. That's crazy. And side note, I am slowly but surely, I mean, when I'm bored, I watch the new season of Vanderpump Rules, but it's not appointment television for me. But I will say, on this week's episode of Vanderpump Rules, I saw a different side to Shane, which I've had a little bit of a, I mean, I don't know. Not my cup of tea, okay? Especially like in a romantic setting, because that's the lens that I'm watching the season of Vanderpump Rules, is because they like want everybody to be single. They want these love triangles, love squares, what have you, right? So I just see Shane and I see these women like falling all over him and I'm like, no, I would never. He's just not my type. But, he shared something very vulnerable on this week's episode about being a child whose parents are addicts, and who said, he obviously is sober now, but it's taken him a while to get there. He had a relapse 3 years ago, and he was talking about how, his family didn't make it any easier for him to get clean and sober because his parents liked to do drugs with him, and he said it wasn't until I was digging through the carpet trying to find little scraps of drugs that I realized that I had a problem. And he admits that he went to the liquor store, bought something because his dad was coming into town and it was giving him some anxiety. He went to the liquor store, bought something, didn't end up using it. But I thought that was a very vulnerable thing to share, and it made me see him in a different light. So kudos to Shane from Vanderpump Rules for being vulnerable. That's what we like out of reality TV. I don't really like makeshift drama, big fights that don't really mean anything, that are smoothed over as soon as the cameras go off. I like stuff like that, where we really get to learn who somebody is, the struggles they've been through, and how they've become a better person from it. Let's move on to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion, part 1 recap. 100 episodes of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That was cool. But, we get to the set, which it's Santorini inspired. And at this point, it's like, gosh, half the season has happened in a setting that revolves around Greece, right? Because the last 6 episodes, it felt like was still on the Greece trip. Now they're doing the reunion and they're still in Greece. But anyways, Lisa is demanding to be heard. Bronwyn questions their so-called truce. Angie comes in locked and loaded, which maybe like the biggest bombshell to come out of part 1 specifically, right? This little scroll that she has saying, Lisa is the leak. I know it because I found the phone number that the information was belonging to, and it's Lisa's phone number. But we kick things off with this little moment between Whitney and Meredith, where Whitney's like, or Meredith's like, you said you wanted to clear the floor, so let's clear the floor. And Whitney's like, I was very happy and drunk at BravoCon, and you didn't want to be my friend. And Meredith was like, yeah, Whitney, your husband had to carry you up the steps. I wasn't looking to repair the relationship while you were falling over during Watch What Happens Live. And Whitney's like, I realize that we will never be friends again. And Meredith's like, yeah, cool, whatever. And then Lisa becomes the main character of the chaos reel, where Heather labels her as a risky friend. And Lisa says, well, Heather, you're snaky. And then Mary says, Lisa, you might be a little bit delusional. The women question why Lisa skipped the work trip, shaded her alleged Miami face work, and then Bronwyn admits she jumped on the Lisa bashing bandwagon because Lisa had her blocked everywhere. Do I think that Lisa is a risky friend? Yes. Do I think that Heather is snaky? Also, yes. There's all these things coming out about Heather Gay right now, like trying to puppeteer, whether it be Monica or Lisa or anybody else. And, I feel like ever since the black eye incident, Heather has not been the same. I feel like whenever she saw what confusion would do for like her personal storyline and for herself and people talking about her, she was like, oh, I like this. I'm going to do it more. I'm going to stir the pot more because I'm making a TV show at the end of the day. I don't really like that. And I feel like Meredith is on the receiving end of them making a TV show, which is why Meredith is like not really vibing with the women. And I can't say that I disagree with that. But Things only escalate when the lawsuits are brought up, right? Lisa claims only one is pending, one is being litigated, and the rest were dismissed, insisting she never owed anybody money. Bronwyn is reminding Lisa, hey, we agreed to not go after each other's families. This fan sent me a video of you body shaming Todd at BravoCon, and Lisa is not backing down. She's like doubling down, which doesn't necessarily help her case. And then we get into the branding wars. Where we're talking about Angie's Arby's commercial, Lisa's Wendy's commercial, the Kerastase treatments. Lisa's like, Angie, you benefit from my wins. You do. And Angie's like, you do French fries, I do franchise. You know, it's like so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And speaking of ridiculous, enter Brittany with her emotional support teddy bear with the message from Jared, like secondhand embarrassment. You guys, it's so crazy to me. We do get some, again, here's a perfect example of what I was talking about with Heather and how she likes to create confusion to get people to talk about her because she thinks that's what is good for the show. The Captain Jason situation. She says here on part 1, nothing happened with Captain Jason. I would be wearing a sailor suit if something happened with Captain Jason. But then in her confessionals, she's being aloof about it, you know, like, did I say that? And it's like, stop. It's just annoying. And then last but certainly not least, Bronwyn talks about her sealed past, saying if it were a felony level situation, she wouldn't have gotten her citizenship, and hints that someone from the cast pushed her story to the press, strongly suggesting it's Lisa. That's when Angie brings out the scroll and she's like, yep, Lisa is the leak. And then this brings us to this moment with Heather. Heather questioning what Lisa actually does for a living. Lux marketing, incubating brands, owning brands. I don't know what incubating brands means personally, but Lisa spirals, insults are flying. And that's when Angie pulls out the scroll. I was not mad that Heather asked Lisa what she does for work because I also don't know. And I'm not saying that as shade because I like Lisa Barlow. I think she's good for the show. I think she delivers, you know, good housewifery. But I don't know what she does. But I know the insinuation whenever Heather asks that is correlating to Jen Shah, because we had the same conversations about Jen. How did she make her money? We're confused. We don't understand what she does for a living. And now that line of questioning is being directed at Lisa, to which Lisa takes offense because she's like, I'm not a criminal. She doesn't say that, right? But that's where everybody's mind is going. But I still don't know what Lisa does. Do you? I didn't think so.